and chaos would reclaim all of creation. She insisted that only the gods and the house together could prevail. The old way, the path of the gods, would have to be reestablished. I was a foolish old man. I knew in my heart she was right, but I refused to believe. And your parents took it upon themselves to act. They sacrificed themselves trying to put things right because I was too stubborn to change. For that, I am truly sorry. As much as I tried, I found it hard to stay angry at the old turkey. It's a rare thing when an adult admits they are wrong to a child, especially a wise 2,000-year-old adult. You rather have to cherish those moments. I forgive you, Iskandar, I said. Honestly, but Set is about to destroy North America with the giant red pyramid. What do I do about it? That, my dear, I can't answer. Your choice. He tilted his head back toward the lake as if hearing a voice. Our time is at an end. I must do my job as gatekeeper and decide whether or not to grant you access to the lake of fire. But I've got more questions. And I wish we had more time, Iskandar said. You have a strong spirit, Sadie Kane. Someday you will make an excellent guardian Ba. Thanks, I muttered. Can't wait to be poultry forever. I can only tell you this. Your choice approaches. Don't let your feelings blind you to what is best, as I did. What choice? Best for whom? That's the key, isn't it? Your father, your family, the gods, the world. Maat and Isfet, order and chaos, are about to collide more violently than they have in eons. You and your brother will be instrumental in balancing those forces, or destroying everything. That also your mother foresaw. Hang on, what are you... Until we meet again, Sadie. Perhaps someday we will have a chance to talk further. But for now, pass through. My job is to assess your courage, and you have that in abundance. I wanted to argue that no, in fact, I didn't. I wanted Iskandar to stay and tell me exactly what my mother had foreseen in my future. But his spirit faded, leaving the deck quiet and still. Only then did I realize that no one else on board had said a thing. I turned to face Carter. Leave everything to me, eh? He was staring into space, not even blinking. Khufu still clung to my legs, absolutely petrified. Bast's face was frozen in mid-hiss. Guys? I snapped my fingers and they all unfroze. Ba? Bast hissed. Then she looked around and scowled. Wait, I thought I saw... What just happened? I wondered how powerful a magician had to be to stop time, to freeze even a goddess. Someday Iskandar was going to teach me that trick, dead or no. Yeah, I said. I reckon there was a Ba. Gone now. The baboon statues began to rumble and grind as their arms lowered. The bronzed sun disk in the middle of the river sank below the surface, clearing the way into the lake. The boat shot forward, straight into the flames and the boiling red waves. Through the shimmering heat, I could just make out an island in the middle of the lake. On it rose a glittering black temple that looked not at all friendly. The Hall of Judgment, I guessed. Bast nodded. Times like this, I'm glad I don't have a mortal soul. As we docked at the island, Bloodstained Blade came down to say goodbye. I hope to see you again, Lord and Lady Kane, he hummed. Your rooms will be waiting aboard the Egyptian Queen. Unless, of course, you see fit to release me from service. Behind his back, Bast shook her head adamantly. We'll keep you around, I told the captain. Thanks for everything. As you wish, the captain said. If Axis could frown, I'm sure he would have. Stay sharp, Carter told him. And with Bast and Khufu, we walked down the gangplank. Instead of pulling away, the ship simply sank into the boiling lava and disappeared. I scowled at Carter. Stay sharp? I thought it was funny. You're hopeless. We walked up the steps of the Black Temple. A forest of stone pillars held up the ceiling. Every surface was carved with hieroglyphs and images. But there was no color, just black on black. Haze from the lake drifted through the temple, and despite reed torches that burned on each pillar, it was impossible to see very far through the gloom. "Stay alert," Bass warned, sniffing the air. "He's close." "Who?" I asked. "The dog," Bass said with disdain. There was a snarling noise, and a huge black shape leaped out of the mist. It tackled Bast, who rolled over and wailed in feline outrage, then raced off, leaving us alone with the beast. I suppose she had warned us that she wasn't brave. The new animal was sleek and black, like the set animal we'd seen in Washington, D.C., but more obviously canine, graceful and rather cute, actually. A jackal, I realized, with a golden collar around its neck. Then it morphed into a young man, and my heart almost stopped. He was the boy from my dreams, quite literally, the guy in black I'd seen twice before in my ball visions. In person, if possible, Anubis was even more drop-dead gorgeous. Oh, ha, I didn't catch the pun, but thank you, Carter. God of the dead, drop-dead gorgeous. Yes, hilarious. Now, may I continue? He had a pale complexion, tasseled black hair, and rich brown eyes like melted chocolate. He was dressed in black jeans, combat boots like mine, a ripped t-shirt, and a black leather jacket that suited him quite nicely. He was long and lean like a jackal. His ears, like a jackal's, stuck out a bit, which I found cute, and he wore a gold chain around his neck. Now please understand, I am not boy crazy. I'm not. I'd spent most of the school term making fun of Liz and Emma, who were, and I was very glad they weren't with me just then, because they would have teased me to no end. The boy in black stood and brushed off his jacket. "I'm not a dog," he grumbled. "No," I agreed. "You're—" No doubt I would have said delicious or something equally embarrassing, but Carter saved me. "You're Anubis?" he asked. "We've come for the feather of truth." Anubis frowned. He locked his very nice eyes with mine. "You're not dead." "No," I said, "though we're trying awfully hard." "I don't deal with the living," he said firmly. And then he looked at Khufu and Carter. "However, you travel with a baboon. That shows good taste. I won't kill you until you've had a good chance to explain. Why did Bass bring you here?" "Actually," Carter said, "Toth sent us." Carter started to tell him the story, but Khufu broke in impatiently. Ah! Baboon speak must have been quite efficient, because Anubis nodded as if he had just gotten the whole tale. "I see." He scowled at Carter. "So you're Horus, and you're—" His finger drifted towards me. I'm, I stammered. Quite unlike me to be tongue-tied, I'll admit, but looking at Anubis, I felt as if I'd just gotten a large shot of Novocaine from the dentist. Carter looked at me as if I'd gone daft. "I'm not Isis," I managed. "I mean, Isis is milling about inside, but I'm not her. She's just visiting." Anubis tilted his head. "And the two of you intend to challenge Set?" "That's the general idea," Carter agreed. "Will you help?" Anubis glowered. I remember Toth saying that Anubis was only in a good mood once an eon or so. I had the feeling this was not one of those days. "No," he said flatly. "I'll show you why." He turned into a jackal and sped back the way he came. Carter and I exchanged looks. Not knowing what else to do, we ran after Anubis, deeper into the gloom.